Hello, everyone. Good
Everyone.
afternoon, and welcome to the second webinar of the year. Today, we are talking about all the things to make sure that your coverage report is on brand, but also speaks to your readers. So I know some are interested in visuals, some more stats, and there's just a few changes you can make in your report to make it easier for the different people to digest. So as normal, heading up the webinar today, we've got the normal crew. I'm Laura, I'm head of customer success here. We have David, who's head of support, and he'll be doing the main part of the demo. And as normal, we've got Will on the keyboards. He's there to answer any questions you have. So if you have any questions as we go along, feel free to just pop them in the chat and he'll answer them as we go through things. So I can see everybody coming in now. Hello, everybody. I thought maybe while I'm just waiting for everyone to come in now, I will do a quick highlight of something that went live last week, I think. And it's called Quick Share. Excuse me. Hi, Richard. So I'm quite excited about this one because when I used to get a piece of coverage, I didn't just put it in my coverage report. I always send it to the client first, and I'd want to have a bit of context around it about how big the publication was or how often it'd been shared. And because it was just one link, I'd often just do it myself rather than put it in coverage book and find the numbers. But now we've done something in coverage book where you can just pop your link in. We can give you its own link, and it's the coverage book quick share link, and you can send that across. And what that does is that gives your piece of coverage, but with all the stats around it. So it gives a lot more context to your readers who are opening it. So I'm quite excited about that. It wasn't what we were meant to showcase on this webinar today, but I thought I'd just mention it as we're seeing all the numbers come in. I'll just pop an FAQ in the email that I send over to you guys with the recording of this session with more information on that. But I just thought I'd sneak it in as everyone's coming in. So it looks like we've got quite a few people in here now. Oh, yeah, and Will's put the FAQ in the chat in case you want to have a quick look now. So without any further ado, I shall pass you on to David, who will do the main part of the demo.
Cool. Thanks, Laura. Hi, everyone. Let me just share my screen really quickly so that you can see what we're all about. There we go. Hopefully you can all see my screen now. So yes, today we are going to be looking at all of the different ways that you can format your reports to help your reports stay on brand and to also add some visual impact to them. And there's quite a few things that you can do. I've got a list of almost 15 different things here, so I'll try and get through all of them as quickly as I can. The first thing to mention actually is, if you haven't already seen it, we have launched a showcase gallery. If you go to coveragebook.com and click on the help and resources menu and go down to PR showcase gallery, this contains all of the best examples of reports that our customers have submitted to our gallery. And each month we pick a winner of the best example. There's lots of really cool things in here that you can have a look at. So if you wanted some extra inspiration on report formats, or perhaps organizing your metrics or coverage in certain ways, it's worth checking out this page because there's loads of good stuff in there. So without further ado, let's dive into a report. If you've watched any of our webinars before, you'll be really familiar with this. This is our kind of live promo book that we use for all of our demos. Before we go any further, I would like to say that probably the best view to see all of your book in one glance is the book overview page. So when you log in, it will always default to this page. It's just a really good view because it shows you all of the different elements of your report in one scrollable page, and you can basically just check that everything is exactly as it's supposed to be before you share this with your clients. So it's just a really good page to be on. So the first thing we're going to look at is the front cover. Now, by default, we will pull together a randomized selection of images from your coverage when you import it, and we'll show it as this coverage montage that you can see here. there are different ways that you can set up the layout of this montage. If you click on the top left-hand corner where it says layout, the first view that we have is the stacked layout that I have here. We also have a side-by-side layout, which predictably is exactly that. So you get the title on the left and the coverage on the right. And we also have an overlay mode, which I like to call dark mode. So it really makes kind of the report title and the client logo sort of pop out. And then the coverage is kind of grayed out on the back here. It's worth just noting that this particular view, you won't be able to change the color of it. It's kind of set in this dark format, but you also have that available to use. And if your clients are used to, or you prefer the old legacy view that we had, you can also revert to that as well. So you've now got 4 different ways that you can present the front cover montage to your clients. I'm just going to quickly switch back to the stacked view because that's the one I prefer for this book. So once you've got your particular layout that you like, it's also possible to customize which clips show in this front cover montage. And that was something that we got asked a lot about on support, was we'd really like to customize some of the clips that show here. And you can now do that. So if you go along to the cover image menu and click into this menu here, you can now use images from different parts of the book. So we will still pull through an automated selection of images, but you now have the choice of, for example, just the first items in your book, or the highlights, which I have here. Or you could even do recently published items, or perhaps even something like select items in a specific section. So you could just share images of your Instagram or Facebook clips in your front cover if you prefer to do that. Now, you don't have to use our front cover montage. You can also use a full page custom image. So if you have a nice high-res campaign image or a particular image that the client would like you to use to really keep their reports on brand, if you click on the custom image option here, you can quickly import one just by clicking on that button. I already have a default image loaded up, but it will normally just say add image here. You can crop this image, and you can also do a couple of import options. So you can either stretch the image to fit with some nice sort of rounded edges, or you can have it sort of fill the whole page. You can also change the background color of your front covers as well, and just click on background color. And from here, you can now choose from a list of colors in a palette, either manually, or if your client has a particular like hex code or Pantone reference, if you can grab that from them and just copy and paste it into here, we will get the exact same color, just to make sure that it does match and that your clients' reports are exactly on brand. Just finally on this particular page as well, you can also obviously give the report a title. You can also add a short subtitle as well. So this can be really good just for bringing in some extra context to the report, and you can add in a client logo as well. So you've got lots of customization options for the front cover. There is one kind of design change that you can make as well. And you'll see that within this front cover, there are some kind of pink accents as part of the design. And you'll also see that there are some pink accents above the metrics cards in the summary page. Now, these are accent colors. And if you prefer to do so, you can also change those colors to anything that you like. And to do that, just click on the book overview page, go to the accent color tab. And from here, if you change this particular color to any color, again, you can use a specific hex or Pantone reference. Then it will just update those subtle accent colors again, just to help that report really stay on brand. So in terms of the front matter, we currently show the front cover, the metrics summary page, and the highlights page in this order. But you can now also change the order of these pages to any way that you like. And it's easy to do. Just simply drag and drop the page and you can move those around. So if you wanted to showcase your numbers specifically first, you can just drag the metric summary page to the front of the report. And so you can organize that however you'd like. The other thing that you can do as well is if you click on the bottom right-hand corner of any of these pages, you can also hide them from showing. So for example, if you only wanted to show a front cover, you can do that. If you only wanted to show a metrics page, you can also do that as well. So you can show and hide or move around these front pages now, which is a really, really good addition. Before we move on to all of the things that you can do around coverage, you probably already know about this already, but if not, another really good thing to help customize reports and to add more context is to use custom slides. So at the moment, you can import any image as a JPEG, PNG, GIF, or PDF, and we will import that as a full page slide into the report for you. You can add it in two different ways. You can either add it to the start of an existing section. So for example, in this online coverage section, I can click on Add Custom Slides, top left here, or I can click on the green plus Add button and I can add custom slides this way as well. The way that I've chosen to do it is that I've actually added a brand new section, just a blank section with no coverage in it called Campaign Overview. And I've imported just some demo slides from Canva really to show you what you can do. But if you wanted to include maybe a bulleted list about the campaign activity or events, or perhaps a chart to give extra numbers or context, or a social media kind of grid or something like that, all you need to do is just click on Add Custom Slide and import the image into your report. And then when you share this report with your readers, they will see these pages as full page slides as they scroll through the report. So it's a really good way of kind of adding extra context, not just coverage. Let me just skip back to the book overview page. Let's have a look at some coverage. So in this particular report, I have lots of different sections of clippings that are all organized by coverage type, really. So we've got online coverage, and then we break that down into all of the socials as well. And I've got some roundups and talks and conferences at the bottom. There are three different ways that you can present how the coverage views when you share the report with clients. So if I click into this online coverage section and I go to the coverage layout, this is where you will see the option to present coverage as either a full page or as a grid or as a list. And I would suggest that these are really worth playing around with, because you can organize coverage differently across each section of your report. So if you did have a section of coverage that was like super heavy with coverage, had like 100 clips in it or whatever, you might want to switch that to one of the smaller view options to make it a bit more readable and a bit more digestible. So for example, if I share this online coverage section as a grid, when you showcase this, or when you share the link of the report to the client, they will see all of the coverage presented in this grid view. So you will have kind of like a nice larger thumbnail of the coverage so that you can quickly see it, a little bit of info about the clip and the metrics at the bottom. And you can, of course, click into any of these items to view them full size as well. So it's just a really good way of condensing your coverage down. If you preview your report and you do see this green bar at the top that says go back to editing or share your book, it's only because you are a logged in user. If you share this with anybody that doesn't have access to your coverage book account, they will just see the full report without the option to edit or share. So that's just a user only view. So I actually decided to keep the Instagram coverage as a full page view because there's only a few clippings in here. So again, if I preview these in the book, you will see each of these posts as a full page. So you might want to keep some of your coverage in this full view. You might want to condense some down. And then finally, if I switch to the Twitter section, so this has 41 pieces of coverage in it. And I have this set as a list view. So this is a much more visually impactful and kind of condensed way. So if perhaps your clients are less visually oriented but are more interested in just seeing the coverage and the data side, this could be a good view option that you could use, because it will just show a smaller thumbnail of the coverage on the left, but you will have a more prominent metrics overview on the right hand side. And again, any of these clips you can just click straight on and you can go to view the coverage full size as well. So that option is available to you. Once you're happy that you have all of your coverage sections organized as you would like, there are also some other things that you can do to really help format the report for different audiences or different readerships. So, for example, if you were to have a book that had lots and lots of syndicated coverage in it, say like 200 clippings that were pretty much all the same article, but just shared across lots of local and regional publications, you may want to have all of those overall numbers in your report. So you can import all of those clips, but actually you could then go through and hide some of the sections of coverage to just show the best items in your report, but still keep those overall numbers. And the way that you would do that is from the book overview page. There is a hide section option just here on the top right hand corner. So if you click on that, it will remove the coverage from being visible in the report, but it will still keep the metrics there for you. So yeah, this is a really good way to kind of tailor different reports, perhaps to different audiences, or to help minimize having a massive report full of the same thing that people aren't likely to read. I've got an example of how I've done this actually in another book. So what I basically did here was, in my original report formats book, I clicked on the bottom right hand corner of the book and I made an exact copy of that book, so with all of the coverage in it. And then what I then did was I then edited it, slightly biased towards my social media team, for example. I changed the front cover, I switched to showing social images instead of other images. All of the metrics numbers have still been calculated for the overall report, so that won't have changed. But then what I basically did was I went through and I hid all of the sections that weren't social coverage. This will just purely show those. And then when you share this report with your readers, they will see obviously the updated page, they'll get all of the metrics summary, the key highlights of the report, but they will only see the social sections. So this is a really good way of kind of tailoring each version of the report to a different audience so that they can quickly get to the coverage that they're interested in. It's worth just mentioning super quickly as well, a handy tip. If you open any of the sections in a report in the preview mode, if you share this URL, it will just take your readers to the specific section of the book. So it's also another really good way of quickly firing off a link just to a section of coverage within a report. Now, you can actually take this one step further again. If you really want to create a super compact report that just has all of the overall numbers, but perhaps just picks out a few key pieces of coverage that you really want to showcase to a group of people, what you could do is, again, just make a copy of the original book. I've got one here called Campaign Highlights. So again, I've just changed up the front cover a little bit here. It still contains all of those overall metrics in the summary, but I have chosen to hide every single section of coverage in this book and just show the highlighted clips. So to highlight a clip really quickly, all you do is when you import the coverage, you can just click on the gold star in the top right-hand corner of any clip that's your key piece of coverage, and we will add it to the highlights summary page. So the really good thing about this is when you share this book now, it's literally just a few pages long. So you just get the front cover, the metrics summary with all of the numbers for the report, and then just the key pieces of coverage as highlights. And again, you can click into any of these, you can open them up, and then you can click one step further to view the full article without having to go all the way through to the website itself. So there's 3 different ways that you can customize your reports tailored to different audiences, and also how you can make a really short and punchy and visually impactful report just from your highlights. Now, it is also possible to customize what numbers show and what numbers don't show. So you might also have a client that is super interested in just the visual impact of the coverage, and they're not really interested in the numbers per se. So what you potentially could do is just actually hide the entire metrics summary page from the report. And then if you go into the metrics and backlinks section of the book overview page, you can toggle on or off all of the metrics from showing in the final report, as I've done here. So what this means is when you actually share this report with others, when they click into a clip, let me just go back to that. When they click into a clip, they will just purely see the social post. They won't see any of the numbers. So you can just include a metrics only report on its own without any of those. You can, of course, fully customize the metrics summary page as well. Super quickly, just to mention, if you dive into the metrics summary, you can drag and drop these cards around. You can add custom cards of your own choosing, and you can also choose lots of different ways that you can present the coverage. You know, having a look at engagements, you can break that out into social shares, retweets, YouTube likes, etc. So there's lots of options for customizing metrics depending on what your client's requirements are. Let's have a quick look at how you share the book now. We have 3 main options for sharing reports. Let me just dive back into the master book. If you head down to the share menu in the bottom left-hand corner, there are 3 different options that you have, and I just quickly wanted to touch on what the differences between these are. So the first option is to share your book as an online link. So if you copy this URL and share it with anybody, as soon as they open the link, it will take them to the most up-to-date version of the report in your account. So what this means is if you've refreshed the social engagements recently, or you have added or removed or edited any of the clips, it will take them directly to the most up-to-date version of the report inside your account. The really good thing about the online report as well is that it's super interactive. So you can click into all of these to open them up and view the coverage in more detail. Again, if you have any media embedded, so it could be an MP3 or an MP4 file if you have radio or broadcast coverage, or if you have something like a YouTube or TikTok, you can actually click to play the content directly from inside the report. So it's a really nice way of not having to go to the platform directly to play the content. And also all of this is clickable and interactive, and you also get a contents menu down the right-hand side. You can also choose to allow clients to download a PDF and a CSV, which we'll look at next, or you can turn this option off. I would suggest that if your clients do like to have a PDF copy, it might be worth sharing the online link with the PDF turned on so that they can download their own copy, because it will help save your email inbox from exploding, because our PDFs are quite large in file size. So the next option is PDF, and these are quite high resolution, so they do tend to generate quite large file sizes. All you need to do is just click on Create PDF to generate one initially. One of the main differences between PDF and an online report is that they can go out of date as soon as you make any changes to the online book. So you'll see here that I made a couple of edits earlier whilst I was practicing for this webinar, and this PDF is now out of date as of a couple of hours ago. So it's just worth remembering that if you do want to generate a new up-to-date version of the PDF, you need to come back to this area and click on Create Up-to-Date PDF to get the latest copy. In some cases, you might actually not want to do that. You might want to create a report first and generate a PDF, and then edit the online report differently to create 2 different versions, but just to let you know. And you can also toggle on or off whether you share the PDF at the bottom here. And as I say, the main, apart from the main difference of it going out of date, the PDF will appear as a static document. So you will have a clickable contents page that you can use here. You can still click through to view coverage as well. So if you are viewing this PDF online through your browser, if you click on any of these clips, it will open up the online shared book view so that your clients can see the full screenshots. They can have a look through all of the coverage and so on online. But obviously, if you print this off, it will just be a static document. And then the final option we have is to download as a CSV. So if your clients are interested in the numbers side of things, all they need to do is just download a copy of this, and it will generate a report of all of the data in the book, essentially. So you'll have all of the headline numbers from the metrics, all of the links, all of the URLs. Sorry, I'm scrolling through this really quickly. It basically contains all of the data in the book. So you get all of the metrics broken down by section into individual cells. So it is a really good thing if your clients are interested in number analysis. That's pretty much everything that we have on formatting and sharing. Just to mention a quick thing, actually, that if you are interested to find out how many people actually read your reports when you share the online link, we don't offer a link tracking or a link opening feature right now for Coverage Book. But if you were to use a URL shortening service like Bitly, I mean, you can just Google URL shorteners and there are like loads that you can choose from. If you use one of those as a third-party link to shorten a Coverage Book URL, some of those do offer how many times the link has been opened, so you can get some metrics back about who is reading your reports as well if you run our links through a shortener. So I think that's pretty much everything I had. That was quite a quick whistle-stop tour, so I hope you found that useful. Does anybody have any questions that you wanted me to run through in more detail?
So I think Will has covered the questions very well, but there was one which I thought was a brilliant question and worth also sending your way, David, to demo. And that is Maritza saying, can a report pull out the client's quote or mention? So you had an image and link. Obviously, Will sent through the setting a focus, but I thought it might be worth you showing that as well, especially because it's another way of formatting the reports.
Yeah, okay, cool. So let's dive into the main live promo book for this one. As Will has shared the help article, let's just have a quick look at how you set the focus point. So all you need to do is just click into any of your clips. And then if you just click on the main screenshot or on the Add Edit Media button here, it will open up the full screenshot of the article. And then what you basically have is the image frame is on the top left. If you click on that, you'll get this green frame that appears around the screenshot, and you can basically drag it up and down anywhere that you like to pull out the mention that you're interested in. And then once you're at that part of the article, just hit Save Changes. The full screenshot is still available to view as well. All it means is that when you share the report with others, it will pick out your client's mention specifically. In terms of actually highlighting text within the screenshots, that isn't something that's possible now, but you potentially could copy and paste the relevant pull quote and add it as a comment to the clip as well. And just make sure that it's quite a short quote. I wouldn't add a large body of text because it will kind of scroll over lots of pages. But if it's like, just a short sentence from a CEO or something like that, you could also add that as a comment just to highlight that a little bit closer as well.
Perfect. Could you quickly also go back and show how to turn off the download the PDF?
Oh yeah, sure. Okay. Yeah. So basically, when you are in any book, just go to the share menu in the bottom left-hand corner. And then if I just make my screen a bit bigger, sorry, trying to do it with my fingers on the trackpad, you've basically got these toggle switches at the bottom. So for any report that you share, you can choose just to switch on or off those toggle switches. And then what happens when you preview the book and go to the contents page, the client will no longer have the option to download the PDF or the CSV. So you can choose to share or not share that as well.
Perfect. Thank you very much, David. And I think that's all of the questions covered. There's one here from, oh no, Amber has been, she said, can you add a spreadsheet of stats? It's all right, okay. Will's already replied saying that you can add them as an image pile. Yep, so that's fine. So I think everybody else has had their questions answered. Will is quick on keyboards, as I always say. And that makes we have been going for half an hour. I always promise that we'll keep it to half an hour under. We're a sneaky 1 minute over at the moment, so I think that's okay. That probably concludes this month's webinar. Next month, we are going to be doing a run through of all the new features that we've added to Coverage Book in the last few months. So I'm quite excited for that one. It should be a good one because I think we've announced them as they've gone along, but I think a lot of them have gone under the radar. So it'd be nice to showcase some of them. I'm very excited about the quick share button, so we're going to have to mention that one again as well.
Yeah. We'll definitely demo that one next time, and and everything else we've been up to as well.
Yes, we've been very busy. Well, the back end of the team have been very busy, and we have to. Right. Thank you everyone for joining us, and we will. Oh yes, I will send a follow-up email as always with a recording of this and any useful FAQs that come with it. It should be with your inboxes on Friday. And then apart from that, we hope to see you at the next one. All right. Bye.
Cheers, everyone. Bye.